401k versus Roth IRA. Why does everybody keep talking about these types of accounts? Who are they for? Can you get both? Do you even need one? All these questions can be answered if you just stick around and like and subscribe if you like. Now, first off, these two accounts are retirement accounts. And you're probably thinking to yourself, isn't that what Social Security is for? And about that, with the rise in life expectancy, as well as the rising cost of living, as well as a sprinkle of inflation, it's not looking too well for Social Security, especially if you're in a younger demographic. You see, Bloomberg did a poll, and around 55% of Americans polled said that they probably won't save enough for their retirement. And when you look at the ages between 18 and 34, that number goes down to around 35%. So as I said earlier, the 401k and Roth IRA are both retirement accounts, but they utilize investing into the stock market to grow your money over time. And if you aren't sure exactly what the stock market is or how to invest into it, or you just want a little bit of extra information on that, I'll leave a link in the description for a video that I have about that. Now, both of these accounts are tax advantage accounts to kind of incentivize you to save for your retirement. Okay, I was editing this video and I realized I forgot to mention something. If you aren't over the age of 59 and a half, since this is a retirement account, you will receive tax penalties if you try to withdraw that money before that age. So just keep that in mind. Now, the way that they go about doing this is where we start to see some differences. Let's start with the 401k. These types of accounts usually are provided to you by your employer and are usually found in the benefits packages that they offer you at your initial hiring process. Now, the way that taxes work within this type of account is that it's a tax deferred account. We'll get back to that later. Now, when you look at this paperwork, you probably see a company match within it. Now, this means that your employer is also contributing to this account. Now, let's say your employer offers you a 100% match on 5% and an additional 50% match on an additional 2%. Now, the way that this works is, let's say you make $50,000 a year and you want to contribute 7% of your income. Now, that first 5% will be matched by your employer dollar for dollar. So that $2,500 that you contribute, your employer will also match that contribution dollar for dollar. So this brings your balance up to $5,000. That additional 2% that you contribute, your employer will match 50 cents on every dollar that you do. So that $1,000 that you contribute, your employer will also add $500 within it. But if you decide to contribute anything above that 7%, your employer will not match any of that contribution. But you can feel free to add as much as you want to that account up to a limit of $22,500 annually. And if you're over the age of 50, that contribution is bumped up to $30,000 per year as a catch-up. Now, as I said earlier, one of the key benefits of using this type of account is it's tax deferred, meaning that your taxes for the year will be reduced by the amount that you contribute. So in our scenario earlier, our $50,000 earned turns into $46,500. Now, this allows you to grow extra money within your account before taxes. But remember I said earlier that this is tax deferred. Uncle Sam's going to still take his money. So the taxes are deducted at the time of withdrawal, which some people don't like, especially since the taxes are always fluctuating. You don't know if you're going to be in a higher tax bracket later or what the tax rate is going to be in the future. So a lot of people decide they don't like this type of approach just because of that, and some people don't really mind. So I leave that up to you. Now, something that a lot of people fail to mention about the 401k is that a lot of companies, if not all, have a vesting period within that type of account, meaning that you have to stay within the company for a certain amount of years or even months to walk away with that matching contribution from your employer. Any money that you personally inputted into that account is completely yours, but your employer match is definitely subject to that vesting period. Sometimes it just makes sense to check with HR just to find out what your vesting period is if you're thinking about leaving that company. It can make the difference between staying a few days or a couple weeks to get thousands of dollars in your account. Or maybe you just don't even care about that and you just feel like leaving. But for me personally, it's better to know all of your options before making that type of decision. Now, I'm kind of curious, do you know the vesting period for the company that you're working at? Let me know in the comments below. I'm kind of curious to see what the variation is. Now, the Roth IRA is pre-tax, meaning that the money that you add to that account is already taxed before you even get it in there. Now, if you know anything about investment accounts, you probably think to yourself, that's nothing special. All investment accounts are used with pre-tax money. But the benefit of having this type of account is any type of gains that you have within the account is not subject to any further taxes. This is kind of like a what you see is what you get type of account, meaning that any money that you see within that account can be automatically withdrawn without any type of tax penalties. Now, the Roth IRA is very beneficial for people who are self-employed and people who just want to get that what you see is what you get type of approach, especially since the individual retirement account. Now, the Roth IRA is the individual retirement account, so you have to go and look for a brokerage to actually open an account like this. But these days, it's pretty simple. Now, personally, I use M1 Finance, but there are many brokerages out there, like Charles Schwab, Vanguard, Fidelity, and I'll probably list a few more. Now, the Roth IRA does have a lower max contribution, $6,500 per year, and $7,500 if you're in that 50 and older category. Now, personally, I use both these types of accounts. With the 401k, I get an employer contribution. I think of it as a bonus. And with the Roth IRA, what you see is what you get. I don't have to do any type of calculation. And I like that. As well as with the Roth IRA, I don't have to worry about what tax bracket I'm in the future, as well as what the tax rates are when it's time to withdraw my money. Now, if you found this video helpful, feel free to share with a friend. And if you have any ideas of any topics that you want us to discuss, let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.